Okay, so good busy and bad busy. I love this question. So let's start with bad busy. Bad busy is basically divided into two categories in my mind. So there's bad busy where you're busy doing unproductive stuff without intent, where that falls into like the wasting time category. And there's bad busy where you are trying to do something productive, but you're doing it in an unproductive way. So let me start with bad busy with poor intent. So I'll give you an example. Years ago, I had someone that worked for me that, no joke, it would take her an hour to order her lunch. She would have 8 seamless menus open, cross-referencing the menus and trying to figure out what she wanted to have for lunch. And it would literally, an hour is probably generous. So it would take her an hour to order lunch, and that would just set her back an entire hour, whatever work that needed to get done for that day. That's bad busy with poor intent. So that's being unproductive. It's wasting time during hours that should have sort of peak productive value. And that's like the worst type of bad busy. Then the next category of bad busy is if your intentions are good, like you're trying to do the right thing, you're trying to be productive, but the means by which you're going about doing it are bad. So I'll give you an example. When I first started playing golf 10 years ago, I would go to the driving range and literally pound away at hundreds of balls for hours. And I would do this day in and day out. So, in my mind, I had to put in 10,000 hours of practice to get better at golf. And I'll tell you, I probably put in more than 10,000 hours. I was obsessed with it, but I wasn't getting any better. Like the first few years I played golf, I was literally just at a standstill. Even though I was practicing so much, just banging away at balls. My intent was good. I was busy practicing, that was good. But I was not practicing in a way that was helpful to me. So I was just remaining stagnant in my progress as a golfer. That's bad busy with good intent. And then, that can fall into so many categories, like studying. Like, you're just spending hours and hours and hours studying, but you're really not getting the benefit of your studying because the way you study is unproductive. I went through that in my life as well. In what I do in clinical practice, like seeing patients all day long, and it's productive, but there's ways to maximize that productivity. So bad busy with good intent is better than bad busy with poor intent, but you're still not going to get anywhere. Now, good busy is you're busy with good intent and you're productive. You're striving, you're getting closer to whatever your goal is. So I'll go back to the golf example. After a few years of just sucking at golf, and I'm still not great at it, but I decided I needed to be much more productive in the time that I spent to it. If I'm going to devote an hour to practicing golf, it has to be an hour that provides me value, that gets me a step closer to becoming a better golfer. So every week, this is for the last several years, even in the winter months, without fail, I practice. I have a lesson with a professional, and we work on the flaws in my swing. So, one of the big flaws in golf is swinging the ball from, it's called the outside or over the top. And, that was one of the problems that I had, that all amateur golfers or, weekend golfers have. And, so for years, we were literally working at coming from the inside of the golf ball. And, that's, one of the things that we worked on that helped my game tremendously. My scores have come down. I'm becoming a better golfer year after year because I'm putting in the quote unquote 10,000 hours, but it's productive. The practice I'm doing, it has value, and that's good busy. So I'm busy that hour, and I'm also making gains towards whatever my goal is. That's good busy. That's the best type of busy, and frankly, that's really the only type of busy anyone should have. It should be good busy where whatever you're doing, like I'll give you another example. When I see patients now, what I do is I block them into like 3 or 4 hour blocks based on when those are the busiest times in whichever office I'm working in. So in my New York City office, Monday mornings are a time where my patients love to come in, like to get in before work. So I see patients Monday morning in New York City. I see patients Monday evening, just for 3 hours in my Long Island office from 4 to 7. Because in Long Island, my patients like to come after work. When I see kids, they like to come after school. Friday mornings, I'm in the city for just 3 hours, but it's a very, very productive 3 hours because my patients want to see me in the morning, do whatever cosmetic procedures they want to do before the weekend. Through the years, I've isolated times where I can operate at peak productivity when I'm seeing patients. When I read slides, the same thing. I read slides first thing in the morning because that's when my mind is in sort of peak productiveness for reading slides. And You know, when you can isolate the times of the day where you're the best at doing a particular task, or the times where you're just the most productive in terms of the value you bring to other people, like for instance, my patient care hours, or if you're working on your hobby, figuring out the way to maximize the time that you're putting into that so you can get the maximal gains out of that time you're using, you know, using purposeful practice. Everything you're doing is with intent. That's the best type of busy. So, I mean, good busy is the only type of busy to be. Let's get it.